Hey guys, ECRG here. No intro today. We're just going to go right into it with this video. So you see the title of this video, Kickoff Meeting in Review. In the last video, we did a short little preview, or not so short, I don't really remember how long it was, of the kickoff meeting that I went to. And for those of you that don't know, you watch that video first so you can kind of get a preview. We talked about a little bit about what a kickoff meeting is, but I'm gonna review it right now. So a kickoff meeting is at the beginning of a clinical study. It's after biz dev has secured that the sponsor is going to be using that CRO for a study, and it takes place between the sponsor and the CRO to really discuss at a high level what is going to be happening throughout the course of the clinical trial. So it's called a kickoff meeting. Other CROs might call it something else, but they're all should have similar names. But it's a very important meeting, and they talk about various things like the monitoring plan, like the trial master file plan, the communication plan throughout the study, how the two sides will communicate with each other. And these things aren't necessarily finalized by the kickoff meeting, but it's just an opportunity for the two sides to talk about it and really plan. Now, they may have talked about it before the kickoff meeting, but it's talked about more in depth. And this meeting is usually face-to-face for a lot of the core members, but there are also team members that are calling in remotely. And that could be because they are either based somewhere else in the world and it's too expensive to get them there, or they're not allocated to do that in the budget, or their sections are just so small where they really don't need to be there in person. They can just pop in for that. So very good opportunity if you're able to go. Typically, it's people on the project management side of things that do go to these things. There may be a representative from the sales team that comes to the meeting just to kind of liaison with the sponsor and make things go smoothly. But with this particular kickoff meeting that I attended, it was a 3-day kickoff meeting, and it was really good, really successful. I think the sponsor that we are working with, we have a really good relationship with them. And, the relationship all stems from who you're working with. There have been times that I've been told by other people that the people that they work with at the sponsor are just really bad. And it may not even be those people necessarily. It could be the culture. Culture is everything. There was an example of, they met one of the first people that were assigned to the study. They were really nice, but the culture of that sponsor corrupted them over time to where towards the end of the study, they're mean and very bad to work with. So, a lot of times it's not the people, it can be the culture. So if you're a sponsor and you're listening to this, you really want to keep that in mind. And actually that sponsor was told by this particular CRO that they did not want to work with them anymore. So that can happen. It takes a lot for that to happen, but culture matters. And a lot of times, I'm not going to get on individual people because they're pretty much just doing what they're told from the top on down. But, the culture really stems from the top and it trickles on down. So culture matters. You definitely want to think about that, even at the CRO and the site level, at all levels. If you're listening to this and you're not in clinical research, then a lot of this talk probably won't make sense to you. But, culture matters. And so it was a 3-day kickoff meeting. First day was for internal prep. So we just prepped with each other and talked about what we're going to talk about and, went over the agenda before the kickoff meeting. The second day was a little bit more internal prep for the half of the day. Second half of the day, we actually had the Japan portion of the kickoff meeting. So a lot of you may have worked in Europe or may have worked on studies in South America or Australia or something. And there are small differences, working over there. Obviously, if you're not familiar with them, there's going to be some differences as compared to the USA. But there are huge differences between the USA and Japan. So that's why we had that whole half day dedicated to Japan to talk about Japan, because we are going to have some interaction potentially with Japan, and they do things a little bit differently. So learned a couple things about Japan, and we'll probably make a separate video on working in Japan and clinical research, some things that I learned there. But just know that working with Japan is different, and very different. And usually there needs to be an expert on Japan, like somebody, like a whole Japan team almost, to navigate the red tape in Japan, just because it's so different. The customs are different. The regulations are different. And, just things to think about and discuss, obviously, at a kickoff meeting, because that's the time when you hash out some of these details. So the third day was the full day kickoff meeting. And I've done a video on kickoff meetings before, because this wasn't the only one I've attended. And this third day and that kickoff meeting were, similar types of things. They were similar day, the one that I'm used to. So you have the full day, and it's there that you meet with the team, both the sponsor and the CRO get together and talk about these high level overviews. And I was there taking minutes, and, it's grueling. It's 8 hours of minutes. You have a short lunch, 30 minutes are allocated, breaks are allocated, and it's good. It's good work. You learn a lot through taking the minutes, and it's a good way for you to stay awake, because sitting there listening to other people talk for 8 hours in the same seat is very tiring. Let's keep it honest. Unless you're the project manager or something and you're doing a lot of the talking, or whoever's doing a lot of the talking, it can be very tiring just sitting there listening. And you could tell by the end of it, everyone was ready to go on and do something else. So it is very tiring, but great learning opportunity if any of you ever get the chance. Obviously, if you're in project management, you're going to be doing a good amount of those kickoff meetings if you do startup. Actually, the project manager that I have been working with on that particular project, that was the first kickoff meeting that he attended. So that person was not familiar with it, but obviously you learn quickly and you kind of just go with the flow. Let's see what else. Oh, client dinner. Had a client dinner there the second night, and that's very important to go to. Provides more camaraderie for the team. You get to, relax, have a couple drinks with the client, really learn a little bit more about what they're about. And you're going to be working with these people for years, so you want to have a good relationship with them. And that's a really great time to have a relationship with the client when you're relaxed, eating good food. Obviously, as a member of the CRO, quote unquote, picks up the tab, but obviously the client is going to be billed to them later because they're paying for everything. So, usually they pick a good restaurant, not super expensive. I would say probably about $15 to $25 a plate is a good estimate. You want to pick some place that's going to be good and of quality, but you don't want to pick someplace crappy. You want to pick some place with some good drinks, but you don't want to pick some place super, super expensive, like a very high-end steakhouse or anything like that. Just could come off badly to the client, because even though you're picking up the tab that night, they are going to be billed for it later. So a nice place in the middle is usually what's picked. And, not really a particular person who picks. If the client wants to pick, let them pick. That can be hard for people that are very picky with what they eat. But for the most part, I feel like people aren't picky anymore, or as much anymore. And that could be problematic. But, same old business protocol, as always, that goes with the client dinner. And oftentimes at the dinner, business is talked about a little bit more casual manner. But that opens up the discussion for there to be discussion on other things as well, not business related. So client dinner, high ROI as well for networking. That's the time for you to talk to other members of your team that you don't really get to talk to that much. Don't forget, on a clinical trial, on a global clinical trial, that is, you're not going to be seeing these people face to face all the time in the office. You're not going to be working with them all the time in the office. You're going to be most likely working with them through instant message, WebEx, Skype, whatever you guys use for your meetings, and over the phone and instant message. So it's a good time to network with them, talk with them, see what they're about. Great time for that. It's a great time for everybody, really. And there's usually a client dinner over the kickoff meeting too. Usually anytime they get together for a face-to-face meeting, there's going to be dinner. Just a great time. Everybody enjoys it. So, after the third day, flew back that night and got in pretty late, but it was a good day overall. Great time overall, great learning experience, and would definitely recommend everybody to do a kickoff meeting if you can. So, as always, put any questions down below, any comments down below if you have any more questions on a kickoff meeting. You can email us at eliteclinicalgroup@gmail.com for any inquiries you may have, want to be advertised with us, or get part of our resume review program. Email us there for more details. And that's it for today's video, guys. Stay tuned for another video. We're going to talk about the Japan components next. Take care.